Today we have championship case number 10. That's right, we're into the double digits now. Only 6 to go after today. Of course, there are still 2 spots to be determined, so we'll go Monday through Friday this week. I already can't remember the schedule. Literally typed it out this morning and I can't remember it. So, this week's championship schedule, the championship case schedule. Obviously, you saw the title of this one. Today is Joey Logano. You knew that. Tomorrow is Ross Chastain. Wednesday is Austin Cindric. Thursday is Josh Berry. And then Friday is newest playoff driver, Austin Dillon. So, yeah, we're going to continue to do these championship cases. Tonight, we have the Monday after our weekly live stream where we talk about everything that happened over the race weekend. That will start at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to show up here for that live stream. We talk everything NASCAR. We talk racing. We talk news. We'll bring up a bunch of stuff tonight. It's actually going to be quite eventful. We have a few random subjects to cover. But let's get back to the championship case, or I guess we haven't even started it. Let's get to it. Joey Logano. So we do this for all 16 playoff drivers. This is not a prediction, because as I said, we do it for all 16, but we go through each driver, their season so far up to this point, how they can get through the playoffs, get through each round, get to Phoenix, and how they can win a championship. Joey Logano, the only 3-time champion in this format. He knows how to get it done. Even if they have a meh to bad regular season, this 22 team knows how to get it done in the postseason. They know how to advance. They know how to win when it matters. The only big holdup I have on Joey Logano this year, it's this thing right here. If you can't tell, this is a calendar. That right there, that says 2025. Joey Logano, he only shows up in the even numbered years. Last time I checked, 5 is not an even year. So that's the big thing against Joey Logano this year. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about why Joey Logano will win the championship, why he'll end this odd streak about him only making championship years in the even years. It really is just the most peculiar thing that he only makes it in even numbered years. Has never made the Final Four in an odd year, only the evened years. Let's actually talk about his season now. He has 1 win on the season. That came at Texas Motor Speedway. He currently sits 13th in the standings, 2 top 5s, 6 top 10s, 358 laps, letting us 7 playoff points to his name. Point number 1, as always, get as many playoff points as you can. He still is technically within reach of 10th in points. That is worth 1 extra bonus point if he can get there. He needs a lot to happen, but I think another achievable goal before the playoffs for Joey Logano is to win at Daytona. Logano's a great super speedway racer. Of course, he's won at Atlanta multiple times in the next-gen car. It's been a while since he's won at Daytona. In fact, I think his only Daytona win is his 2015 Daytona 500. But Logano's a great super speedway racer. He's won at Talladega a bunch of times, as I referenced earlier, Atlanta. So Joey Logano, go out, try to win at Daytona, get 5 bonus points, get to 10th in points, and get another bonus point because you need those bonus points. Now let's get through the playoffs this first round of Darlington, Gateway, and Bristol. Now, Darlington has been a really odd case for Joey Logano, especially in the next-gen era. He won the first ever race at Darlington in the next-gen car. Won the pole, went on to win the race, led 107 laps, won a stage. Then the second time they go back, they finish top 5 on the pole again, lead 64 laps. Top 5, like back-to-back top 5s, back-to-back poles. A win was in there. It was like, wow, Joey Logano, who had never won at Darlington before, shows up in the next-gen car. It's looking great. Like, Joey Logano might be the guy to beat at Darlington. Well, since then, not exactly the greatest thing. He has not led a lap at Darlington since that 2022 Southern 500. His best finish since then is 8th. There's an 18th, a 12th, a 21st, and a 13th. So outside of those first 2 really, really good races at Darlington, it's been not exactly great. Now, once again, there's a top 10 in there. He finished in the top 10 and 8th in last year's Southern 500. Now to talk about another potential problem. He has only scored in 2 stages since 2023 at Darlington. Yeah, not really pretty. 16 points in the last 5 races. Not ideal. Not great. They're going to need some stage points with their points position, with them not having a lot of playoff points in these really all the rounds. They're going to need as many stage points as possible. I think the goal for Darlington should be a top 10. Other people are going to have problems. Other people are going to have issues, whether that's an on-track incident, whether that's a mechanical failure, whether that's shooting yourself in the foot with a speeding penalty. This 22 team, as I said earlier, in the playoffs, they execute. They get things done, and they do it without making mistakes. They don't have pit road penalties. They don't have on-track incidents. They don't put themselves in position to where they go into that last race in the round and they have to win because they're at a 65-point deficit because they shot themselves in the foot, as I said. So this race, I think the goal should be a top 10. Just have a clean night, finish the race, get yourself a top 10. I think that's very achievable. And while the Darlington numbers may not be the prettiest outside those first two, these Gateway numbers are gorgeous in comparison. Joey Logano won the first ever Cup Series race at Gateway, and his worst finish in 3 starts is 5th. He scored stage points in all but 1 stage at Gateway. I mean, this track is like where, in this first round, this is where they're going to get the majority of their points. Joey Logano is going to be a threat to win this race. This is a short, or not, it's technically an intermediate, but it's a flat oval braking. This is the Team Penske special. Austin Cindric won this race last year. Ryan Blaney was about to win it before he ran out of gas. Team Penske is probably going to have what they had at Richmond this past weekend, which is 3 cars in the top 5. All 3 of their cars will be up there with Cindric, Blaney, and Logano. So the bare minimum for Logano at this race will be a top 5. They're going to score a lot of stage points, probably in the double digits if we're being realistic, and he's going to finish top 5 in the race, as I said. That's a huge haul of points. Even if they have a pretty mediocre race at Darlington and they finish 18th, don't score any stage points, this race alone will make up for that. Then we go to Bristol to close out the round, and oh boy. I'm not going to lie. This is an extremely concerning round for Joey Logano, especially he's already got the points deficit. He doesn't have a lot of playoff points. Darlington has not been the greatest track as of recently. Gateway's been great. As I said, he's probably going to contend for the win there. It's not going to be a must-win, but he's going to contend for the win. His Bristol numbers in the next-gen car. Oh, boy. In fact, even dating back, he has not scored a top 10 at Bristol since 2020. And that was the All-Star race. So we didn't even have a full field in that race. If you want to go to the last time he scored a top 10 in a points-paying race, you have to go back to April of 2019 when he finished 3rd. Oh, he's only scored stage points once in the next-gen car. One time he has scored stage points. Bristol has been abysmal for Joey Logano. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just, I don't even know if it's a Penske thing, because when we talked about Ryan Blaney last week, he scored a top 5 in the spring at at Bristol. Like, these numbers, he's only led 5 laps in the next-gen car. He's only led 7 laps since 2020. This round is concerning for Joey Logano. So I don't think it's a must-win at Gateway. Once again, I think that's an overreach, but I don't think they can afford a DNF in this round. I don't think they can afford a stinker of a race. I think they can maybe afford a meh finish at Darlington, as I said, like a 16th, a 17th, because other people are going to have problems, and then go run top 5 at Gateway, score a bunch of stage points, and you're going to put yourself in a good position heading into Bristol. But if they have a horrid day at Darlington and finish 23rd, if they have some failure at Gateway and they DNF and they come into this Bristol race at a must-win, that's not ideal. That is not even close to ideal. So they have to really perform in these first 2 races, put themselves in a good points position to gain that gap over at Bristol. And I think that's realistic. As I said, I think a top 10 is very possible at Darlington. Contending for the win at Gateway is also very possible. If he wins Gateway, this whole Bristol debate we're having right now, it's irrelevant. So ultimately, outside of that Bristol race, if they can just overperform, put all that pressure and emphasis on the first 2 races and give themselves some breathing room, I actually think they'll be fine to get out of this first round. The second round, we got New Hampshire, Kansas, and the Roval. New Hampshire. The next-gen numbers we don't have a lot of, but Logano has scored stage points in 5 of the 6 stages at New Hampshire. He had a runner-up in 2023, but not great numbers in the other 2 races, finished 32nd and 24th. He has scored a couple of wins at New Hampshire back in the Gen 6 and Car of Tomorrow. Of course, that was his first career win. Has scored numerous top 10s and top 5s, even had a top 5 or 6 race top 10 streak right there at the end of the Gen 6 car. So Joey Logano knows how to get around this place. Once again, it's a flat oval, which kind of leans towards Team Penske, but we've talked about how good Christopher Bell is here and how he owns this racetrack. Well, Joey Logano, I think a top 5 is very achievable. I think they can score a lot of stage points here. I think they can run up front. I don't know if they're quite good enough to beat Christopher Bell, but I think a top 5 is very achievable here. And then we got Kansas, the second race. Not as pretty, but it's nowhere near as bad as Bristol. He had a top 10 in his most recent finish here in the spring, a top 5 back in the fall of 2023, a top 10 in the spring of 2023 as well. Hasn't led a lot of laps, but he scored a few stage points. He's done decent at Kansas. He hasn't been outstanding. He hasn't gone up and led a ton of laps. He hasn't been up there with Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, all those guys. But kind of similar to Darlington, I would say. I think a top 10 is a solid expectation for this race. I think they can very well do that. So if they can get a top 5 at New Hampshire, top 10 at Kansas, that eases the pressure at the Roval. But the Roval, Joey Logano, I don't even think of as a road course guy. He only has 1 road course win in his career, and it was a decade ago at Watkins Glen. Well, Joey Logano's Roval stats are actually pretty darn good. Only 1 finish outside of the top 10. I mean, that's in 7 Roval races. That's a pretty good thing to have on your side. Has scored a lot of stage points in these races. He's led 31 laps, led 27 laps in the 2022 edition of this race. So Joey Logano at the Roval. As I said, don't really think of him as a road course guy, but the Roval, something about it just really seems to suit his style. I talked about how that first round's kind of uncomfortable. That first round's really not great for him. This second round's actually pretty decent for him. It's not tracks that he's going to go out and lead a bunch of laps like Phoenix. It's not going to be a track that he's going to be in contention for the win, with the exception of maybe New Hampshire, but I think they can string consistent enough results in this round and get through, because people are going to have problems. People are going to have bad races. I think 3 straight top 10s could get you out of this round. Then we get to the round of 8. This is the point where Joey Logano is going to be in a points deficit, and more than likely they are going to either have to win a race to advance to the Final Four, or they are going to have to score top 5 points every single race. They're not going to have anywhere near the points entering this round as William Byron, as Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, few other guys. They're going to have, if they don't win a race, 25 plus point deficit heading into this round. So once again, I think they know that. They went into this round last year with that mentality. They won a fuel mileage race at Las Vegas. Maybe that's what it takes, a fuel mileage race at Las Vegas. But Talladega's in there. I'm going to heavily emphasize Talladega. We're going to see a lot of people have problems in this race, including playoff drivers. This is where Joey Logano can make up a chunk of points because how good Logano is at the super speedways. But when we look at his numbers at Talladega as of late, holy moly, it is bad. You thought those Bristol numbers were bad. 1 top 10 since 2019. 1. Now it was a third, so he got a top 5, technically. But oh my goodness, his most recent finishes, 39th, 33rd, 19th, 24th, 30th, 27th, 32nd. That's the entire next-gen car. On the flip side, when we go to the laps led, it's actually very pretty. It's a very juicy statistic. 24, 19, 22, 48, 3, 0, 1. So he only led 4 laps in those first 3 next-gen races, but he's led 19 plus laps in the last 4. Not that bad. As I said, if they can avoid the wreck, if they can avoid the chaos, if they can somehow manage to survive and have a clean race car at the end of this race, they're going to have a shot at winning. And we know how good Team Penske is on these super speedways. Austin Cindric won this race in the spring. Team Penske led a lot of laps at Daytona this year. They led a lot of laps at Atlanta this year. They're really good at these super speedways. Realistically, they should have a lot more super speedway wins, but they always get involved in crashes. Somehow, some way, they get clipped, they get mired back in the pack when they shouldn't, like late in the race. Something happens and they end up not winning. So if they can just put themselves in position, they can avoid the chaos, they can not lose that track position late, Joey Logano's got a great shot at winning this race. And Logano has scored top 10s in 12 straight Martinsville races. But ultimately, as I said, top 10s aren't going to cut it in this round when you're at the points deficit that Joey Logano is. Ultimately, what it comes down to is a win. And he's led some laps. He led 84 laps in April of 2024. He scored stage points, but as I said, I don't think a top 10 is good enough. I think they're going to have to win a race or top 5 all 3 races in this round. And I really think Talladega is their best opportunity. I would argue Logano's due for a Talladega win with how well he's performed at this track despite the horrid finishes. He has the laps led. He has the stage points, the stage wins, whatever else you need. He just doesn't have the finish. He's kind of due for a Talladega win, and that's what it's going to take, I think, for him to make the Final Four. And if he makes that Final Four, he's going to be at worst the second favorite. The only driver I could see in this playoff field, him being the underdog to in terms of raw speed at Phoenix, is Ryan Blaney, his teammate. Team Penske owns this track, especially in the fall. They've won the last 3 championships with this race being the championship race. It's their race to lose. As long as they execute, as long as they perform, they're going to have the speed. Logano has won 2 championships at this racetrack in the fall race. As I said, it's truly Joey Logano's championship to lose, or Team Penske's to lose. He's going to be at worst the second favorite if he makes that Final Four. So to wrap this all up, that first round is extremely concerning. But if they can get out of it, I think they're solid enough. If they're consistent enough, those 3 tracks in the second round, they can find a way out of it. They can top 10 their way out of it. In that round of 8, they're probably going to need a win, but I think Talladega is a great shot. And then Phoenix, as I said, if they make it to Phoenix, they got a great opportunity to win another championship. So that's championship case number 10. Can Logano become a 4-time champion? That's hard to believe that he's already won 3, looking for a 4th. But Logano looking to break the odd-numbered year streak, win his 4th championship in 2025. Tomorrow we got Ross Chastain. Is that what I said earlier? I can't remember. It's been like 10 minutes, and I should have remembered that. Anywho, tonight, the Monday after. Hope you can make it. We'll see you then. Any other news that breaks, I'll let you know. We got this regular season finale at Daytona this weekend.